Okay, let's unpack a truly dramatic cosmic question today. When exactly is Satan cast down to earth? We're taking a deep dive into your sources, especially Revelation, to try and pinpoint this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, looking at these materials, it's not just the event itself, is it? It's the intricate timing and the massive implications for, well, a pretty significant prophetic timeline. Our job here is to pull out the key ideas from the different interpretations we've got.
Right. So the narrative in your sources, it often starts with this symbolic woman in Revelation 12. The texts seem to interpret her as true Israel, the true church.
That's right. And she gives birth to the male child identified as the Lord Jesus, who, ascends to God's throne. And then this woman flees into the wilderness for 1,260 days. It's described as a time of divine protection.
1,260 days. And that number pops up a lot.
It does. It's equated directly to 3.5 years, which represents the first half of what these interpretations call a prophetic final week of history. A really intense period.
Okay, so that sets the stage. But there's this heavenly war.
Yeah, exactly. The materials highlight Satan being defeated by Michael in heaven. But here's what's really insightful, I think. This defeat. It's directly linked to the martyred witness.
The martyrs, how so?
Well, the idea is they overcome Satan through their steadfast testimony, even, facing death. It suggests their appointed number kind of needs to be reached or almost reached for Satan's expulsion from heaven to actually happen.
Wow. So human faithfulness impacting a cosmic battle.
Yeah.
That's profound. What happens next, then, once he is cast down, according to these sources?
Well, once he's down here on Earth, he knows his time is short. That's what the texts say. So he unleashes great wrath. It describes woe to the earth and the sea, and he raises up these beasts to kick off widespread persecution. It's depicted as a direct and pretty devastating result.
That sounds intense. Okay, so that brings us back to the main question. The when. When do your sources suggest this actually takes place?
Yeah, that's the core issue these materials wrestle with, the timing. Now, some views suggest much earlier timings, before creation or maybe at the cross or Pentecost. But these sources, they largely dismiss those ideas.
Why that?
Well, issues with the martyr account, for one. How could that number be met before humans or so early on? And other inconsistencies with the overall prophetic timeline they're mapping out.
Okay, so the earlier dates are mostly out. Where does that leave us?
It points towards Satan's expulsion happening just before this critical period, the last 1 week, really kicks into high gear. And your materials focus on two main possibilities for that timing, either the fifth seal or the fifth trumpet.
Seals and trumpets. Just for context, seals often relate more to unfolding events, right?
Right.
While trumpets are more like specific divine announcements or interventions.
Generally, yes, that's a fair distinction in these interpretations, and the sources seem to lean quite strongly, actually, towards the fifth trumpet.
The fifth trumpet. Okay, walk us through that view.
All right. In this interpretation, at the fifth trumpet, you have this fallen star, which the sources identify as Satan, who receives the key to the bottomless pit. This unleashes locusts onto the earth. That's marked as the first woe.
Okay.
And this event, the fifth trumpet, directly sets the stage for the sixth trumpet. That's when Satan raises the beasts from the sea and land, starting the beast rule and formally beginning that last 1 week.
I see. So the expulsion at the fifth trumpet enables the events of the sixth trumpet and the final week.
Precisely. And it's during that subsequent period, the beast rule, that the appointed number of martyred witnesses is finally fully realized, fulfilling the condition we talked about earlier for Satan's expulsion having happened just before.
It's a really tightly woven narrative they're presenting. These events all seem interlinked. And what about the 144,000? Your sources mentioned them too. How do they fit into this picture, especially with Satan running rampant?
Good question. These texts interpret the 144,000 as the last first fruits. They're seen as being sealed around the time of the sixth seal, just before the trumpets really get going. And they're even identified, in some interpretations here, with the two witnesses. Their role is seen as providing crucial divine protection and leadership during that intense 1,260-day persecution period, standing against the beast's influence.
So they're like a counterforce during that really difficult time.
In a way, yes. Standing firm, confronting the beast's system. So if we try to pull this all together, connect the dots, Satan's casting down isn't presented as just some random cosmic event. It's shown as a direct consequence of the faithfulness, the unwavering testimony of those facing persecution.
And that event then triggers the final act.
It seems to accelerate everything, yes. Accelerates the unfolding of these end-time prophecies, and it heralds the imminent establishment of God's kingdom according to these texts.
Okay. So if you're thinking about this for you, the listener, it really raises a challenging question, doesn't it? If the very timing of huge cosmic events, as interpreted here, might hinge on the steadfastness and testimony of individuals, what kind of profound impact could your own resolve, your own pursuit of truth potentially have in the grand narrative? Definitely something to ponder as you navigate the complexities of our world today.